Welcome to this CustomTools webinar. In today's agenda, we are going to review some tips and tricks in CustomTools. Before diving into the presentation, allow me to introduce myself. My name is François Simon, and I have been working with Soft for over 16 years. My focus has primarily been on CustomTools and customization related to SolidWorks and SolidWorks PDM. We anticipate that the webinar will last somewhere in the range of 20 to 30 minutes. With me today I have Tero Salonen. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box and we will do our best to address them after the session to let you follow the presentation better. This webinar is part of the tips and tricks series that we have started some years ago. Today we'll present you with 10 of them and we hope they inspire you. These tips are designed to help you improve your efficiency and also assist you in solving common issues or discovering hidden features. Let's get started with today's topic. Perhaps some of you have seen the issue where certain CustomTools icons just disappear, which is a big mystery why this happens. To restore these icons, simply reset the command manager in the CustomTools options. After restarting SolidWorks, all the icons should be fully restored. As we can see from the CustomTools toolbar, we are missing quite few icons. So to restore the old icons, I need to open the CustomTools options, visit the user option, and click on the Reset Command Manager. So the Command Manager will be restored once SolidWorks is restarted. I can now click OK, close SolidWorks, and then we can restart SolidWorks and we can verify that the taskbar was fully restored. So I'm going to log into the CustomTools database. Then I'm just going to open the part, and as we can see here, all the icons are once again available. Managing non-CAD items in SolidWorks can be essential, as products often involve components like glue, paint, cables, or other items not directly designed in SolidWorks. However, integrating them in your design or bill of material can be a bit challenging. CustomTools offer a solution through its Custom Scope feature. Custom Scopes are accessible from the Custom Property pane. They enable users to add non-SolidWorks components as child components to part or assemblies. Once these components are defined within the Custom Scopes, they become available for export. Let's get started by adding items that are not really managed in SolidWorks but need to be part of my bill of material in SolidWorks. From the Custom Property pane, I have a property called BOM Addition, and this will open the Custom Scope. The Custom Scope, as you can see, is a table. I can add as many lines as I want, and I can also run search into some external database. For instance, here I'm connected to my ERP system. In my ERP system, I may have items that are designed in SolidWorks and also items that only exist in my ERP system. For example, for that woofer, I would like to have some glue, as I need to glue the wood part. So I can search for the correct glue. Here I can see that I have plastic glue and wood glue, but I want to use the one for the wood. I can also define the quantity that will be used in the bill of material. For example, if I want to use 2 units, and I can add as many lines as I want. For instance, here I could also search for some rad color if I want to paint that woofer. And here we can see that in my ERP system I have like 4 different colors available. I can just pick one and link it with the custom scope. Once again, I can define the quantity needed for the assembly. Now I'm good, and I can click on OK. And I have added now some glue and also some paint to that woofer. The custom scopes can be added as additional lines in my bill of material. If I go to the export to generate an Excel report, for example, we'll see that the 2 items that we have just added earlier are now part of my bill of material. Here I have my subwoofer and I have the wood glue and also the paint that were added to that assembly. I can generate an Excel report, but the custom scopes are also available for export for ERP system and also if you want to generate some text file. As we can see here, we have the two items that were successfully added to my Excel report. We can now check how those can be configured. From the options, we have here the custom scope properties, and we can define up to 4 scopes. As we can see here, each scopes can have like multiple custom property that will be added to the table. And once we have created a scope, we can link it with a custom property. Here I have the one for virtual item, which uses an edit box. And from the button function, I will use here the scope data and then select the scope that I want to associate with that particular property. Once the property has been defined, I can open here from the export an export profile. And from here, I can also select the scope that I want to also use during that export. Filters can improve batch operations by allowing users to optimize the selection of documents to process. While filters can be based on different variables, such as custom properties defined for parts, assemblies, and drawings, they are not supported for cutlist item properties. However, there is a workaround for this limitation. You can copy custom properties of cutlist items as properties of your parts to use those properties as filters. This approach can be useful when you need to filter parts based on specific cutlist item properties. For example, when you want to create DXF or step files for sheet metal plates with bands. Keep in mind that this tip applies only to single bodies, as multiple bodies properties cannot be copied to model properties. Let's first open the custom properties of the cutlist item. And then here I have a property called as bands, where the value is yes. And I want to use that property from the cutlist item to filter the documents to create my PDF files. I will open the options. From the cutlist properties, I'm going to add that same property. And then from the additional option, I'm going to make sure that that property is copied as a model property. Then I need to create the same property for the model. So I'm going to use exactly the same name. And I will just make sure that this property is used as a filter in the batch operation. Now I can select here the file conversion. So here I have a specific file conversion route for DXF for bending. I can select here reference model property, select the property that we have just added, and enter the value that will be used to select the files to process. Now I'm going to open the property pane of the cutlist item. So we can see here that we have the value yes that was properly written. I can save the document. And then when I visit the property pane for the model, we can see here that we have exactly the same value. So now I can use cutlist item properties copied to the model as filter in the print and convert. So here we can see that the property from the model has been added. We can see also the value. And when I select my file conversion rules, the document is automatically selected. As the list of projects expands, locating the correct project can become challenging. One practical strategy to streamline project management is to hide projects that are no longer active. However, it's worth noting that archived projects are no longer available in the property pane or the search pane for project selection. Having only active project visible will aid the project selection. From the property pane, the users have access to a list of active projects. As we can see here, we have projects and sub-projects available for selection to the users. Some projects are also available from the search pane. The project visibility can also be managed. For instance, we can archive projects or sub-projects from the options. We have access to a list of projects. And if I select, for instance, here, the alpha project and click archive, all the child project will also be archived during the same operation. So now we can see here that the project has been archived, and I could also select a child project to archive it. Projects that have been archived can also be displayed in the option. And now if I visit here the property pane, we will see that the list of projects available to the users is more restricted as some project has been hidden. Same thing applies to the search pane. The quantity listed in SolidWorks BOM is not always the quantity needed, especially when dealing with profiles or pipes. SolidWorks quantity corresponds to an instance. If a part is used twice in an assembly, the BOM quantity is 2, but on the floor shop, that quantity does not necessarily reflect the actual quantity required for production. Especially if you are dealing with pipes and profiles where multiple lengths may be used. In CustomTools, you can define a custom property to be used as a BOM quantity. In that woofer, I'm using 2 instances of the same part. If I go to the export, I have 2 custom properties for the quantity, one for CustomTools and the other one for SolidWorks to show you the differences. Now the value is identical as nothing has been configured. If I open the option, I can click on Model Properties and then select any custom property to be used as the model BOM quantity. Here I'm going to select the length and also ensure that in my export profile I also have the material quantity. So the material quantity will always point to the custom property defined as the BOM quantity. The SolidWorks quantity is just the default quantity that we have seen. If we now visit the plates, and if I open the property, so we can see here that we don't have any value, but I will select here the length, which is 150. If the value is left empty for the length, then CustomTools will use the default SolidWorks quantity in the export. So now we can see here in the export dialog that the quantity was updated accordingly for the CustomTools quantity. If I want to use that plate 3 times in my assembly, and I will save the document, revisit the export. So we can see here that the CustomTools quantity and also the SolidWorks quantity was updated accordingly. The following 2 tips are related to the CustomTools database and its performance. By default, all SolidWorks files, whether saved with or without CustomTools, are automatically indexed into the database. We can imagine that after a few years, what was once a small village is now likely a busy town, with all the chaos that comes with it. Did you know that you can control whether SolidWorks files are indexed into the database or not during the save operation, by excluding or including specific folders? Let's first check how we can remove SolidWorks file references that have been indexed to the CustomTools database. Here we have a list of all the SolidWorks files that have been indexed into the CustomTools database, but I don't really need all of them. So here I can search for a specific folder, I can select all the files, and then from the file operation, I can click on Delete. I can also remove the files from the hard drive, or if I just click yes without checking that box, they are just removed from the CustomTools database. If I run the search again, we can see here that the files have been removed. But I can also configure CustomTools to exclude those files automatically. If I open the option from the database option and select index folder, I can define different rules how the folders will be included or excluded into the CustomTools database. I can also include subfolders if I wish to. So now I have defined a rule. I can click on the Save As, and I will now save that file to the folder that I have just excluded from being indexed into the CustomTools database. I can now go to the search, paste here the folder, search, and as we can see here, the result is empty. During the CustomTools installation, dictionaries and languages are automatically created by default. As discussed in the previous tip, over time the database will expand and impact its performance. If dictionaries are not utilized, you can simply remove them along with any default languages. Let's first have a look at how dictionaries can be used in CustomTools. They can be linked with a custom property. So here we can see that we have one of the default CustomTools dictionaries that comes in different languages. And you can search for a specific value from that dictionary and link it with your custom property. Here I have selected the plates, and also when I click OK, it automatically inserted the German translation. But if you don't really need dictionaries or some specific language, you can also remove them from the CustomTools database. So here I select the translation option. I can select any languages that I don't need, click on delete to remove them. I can also select a dictionary that I don't really need and also do the same thing and delete it. This will make the CustomTools database lighter. The next two tips are related to user options. Since they are a user-specific setting, it needs to be specified individually for each user. The first tip is related to the floating custom property pane, which appears during the initial save operation, if the property pane has not been visited for the specific part. To bypass this window, you can configure it in the user's options. Let's get started by creating a new model in SolidWorks. So I'm going to use one of my templates, and I'm not going to visit the property pane of CustomTools. Instead, I will click on the Save As from SolidWorks, and here we can see that the floating property pane of CustomTools automatically appears. Not all users are using CustomTools to generate a file name, and they want to type the name directly from the Save As dialog, as we have here. So here I could freely type a name. If you want to remove the floating property pane, you can open the option, and from the user option, click on the file operation. You can uncheck here the checkbox to show when saving an existing file as a new file, and also select the two next one, as we have also additional options here to remove completely the property pane. If I now click OK, I can close this part and we can create a new model. So I will use a different template. And this time when clicking on the Save As, we can see here that we don't have the floating property pane of CustomTools. The following tip is quite practical and is related to the user initials automatically defined by the CustomTools wizard during a user creation. These initials may not always be correct. If they need to be changed, you can correct them either through the CustomTools option in SolidWorks or in the CustomTools administration tool. Every CustomTools user has its own user, which will be created the first time CustomTools is started when I need to connect to the CustomTools database. I can select, for example, here to use the Windows login, and CustomTools will automatically detect my Windows login as well as my first name, last name, and also initials. If I don't pay close attention, it might be that those are not correct. So if I click OK, the user will be created with those settings. And if I want to make some corrections, for instance, to correct my user initial, I can open the option. And from the user option, I have the basic information where I can see here the information that were created by CustomTools. I can, for example, change my initials. This change can also be made directly from the CustomTools administration tool. So here I have a list of all the users. I can select one, make a right click, select the user option, and I have exactly the same information as from SolidWorks. So here I could also correct the user initials. We can now check how initials can be used in CustomTools. So if I create a new part, open the property, we can see here that the user initial were automatically retrieved. I can show you how the custom property can be configured. From the option, under the model properties, I have created a property called user, which is an edit box. And then from the before function, I'm just using the get user initial, which will retrieve automatically the initials of the CustomTools user connected to the database. As you may already know, we have a major release every year around November, December, followed by 2 to 3 service packs within our release cycle. Users may be uncertain about which version and service pack of CustomTools they are currently using. While most of you are likely familiar with the search pane, there is also a second pane in CustomTools that provides general information about available releases and other useful details. Also, to quickly identify the version of CustomTools you are using, you can simply check the About CustomTools dialog. I am now using SolidWorks 2023, and if I want to check which version of CustomTools I'm using, I can click on the Help and then the About Custom Tools. Here we can see that I'm using CustomTools 2023, Service Pack 1, and also I can have the build number, which can be useful when you contact the CustomTools support. As you are probably familiar, we have a search pane available in CustomTools, but we have also an information pane that gives you information about the version of CustomTools that you are using. You could access what's new, also check the help, or see if there are any available updates for that version. Here we can see that we have the CustomTools 2023 SP2 with the compatible version of SolidWorks, and we have also the CustomTools 2024, which is the latest version of CustomTools. You can also have information about your subscription, your reseller, and also send an email directly to the support.
We are in the life-saving business. We kill your routines before they kill you.